Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Town of Delafield Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, August 26th. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you please call the roll.
Supervisor Mahoney-Ogden.
Present.
Supervisor Miller.
Here.
Supervisor Wolfley.
Present.
Supervisor Berkowitz.
Present.
Chairman Kranek.
Present.
Thank you.
Before we start our meeting this evening, there's the public hearing. Notice hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Town of Delafield Town Board on Tuesday, August 26th at 6:30 p.m. at the Delafield Town Hall to consider the rezoning request of John Sferris, applicant on behalf of William and Mary Karen Irwin, owners, to amend the district zoning map of the Town of Delafield from A1 Agricultural District to A2 Rural Home District to create a new 3.13 acre residential lot. More specifically, the property is located at W330 N247 Kettle Moraine Drive, tax key number DELT 0840.994.003. The Plan Commission public hearing for this item was held at their August 5th, 2025 meeting. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak on this item? Going once? Going twice? I will close the public hearing for that item and move on to the next item, item 5, citizens' comments. Public comments from citizens regarding items on or not on the agenda. The board may not engage in discussions with the citizens making the comments. Individual presentations are limited to 3 minutes, and citizens shall follow the rules set forth in section 2.04 paren D of the town code. Is there anyone who would like to make a citizen's comment? Please come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Chris Smith, W304 N2356 Northwest Wind Drive in the town of Delafield. My item that's on the agenda this evening is I created a trail plan along Maple Avenue. One of the joys of my life working in the public service side of things is when I've worked for municipalities and been able to plan things that I know will benefit citizens for hundreds of years in the future. One of the best ones we did was a cooperation between the city and the town. It's called the Sangren Trail. It's along Cushing Park Road, and it connects the Glacial Drumlin Trail to the Lake Country Trail. That connected hundreds of citizens, different places they can go. It actually had to involve the city, the federal government, because it went under a highway. It was a major project to get done, huge cooperation. Now it's used by hundreds of people every year. Because if there's one thing I've known, on every survey you do, trails and access and walking and recreation like that is in the top 2 or 3, if not the #1 thing. So I happen to live on Maple Road, near the end there, and I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen women pushing baby carriages with 2 small children on the shoulder of Maple Road, people walking their dogs. It gets used even though we haven't formally made it a trail. So I'll stay for later in the meeting if you have any questions for me, but generally all the ask is right now is for you to create a formal plan and adopt it that someday we want to realize this trail. Doesn't mean you have to know the cost now, doesn't mean you have to know the problems it's going to run into, because there are problems with this trail. Some parts easy, some parts problems. You can line up funding sources, all sorts of things, but this is a chance for you to put something down and say, we want to have a better recreational opportunity that makes it safer for our citizens.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak this evening?
Good evening. My name is Randy Schaefer. I live at W291 and 4193 Prairie Wind Circle, Town of Delafield. One of the items on your agenda tonight is discussion about Imperial Drive. I did put the email through asking that at least be considered for no through trucking, as there is no through truck traffic signs already at the top of Winston going into Heartland. We'd like the same from Heartland going through the town and from KE going up to Heartland. This is a stretch of road that has been very, very dangerous. It's been on your topics for many different times. The walking path that was on there from the sheep farm out has been taken away when they repaved. No crosswalks are at this, anywhere on Imperial any longer, which creates very dangerous situation for kids walking to and from school. And as I understand it, there is no bus transportation if you're less than 2 miles, which means these kids have to walk to school, most likely up Imperial Drive. So I'm asking for your consideration. This is a dangerous road. Somebody's going to get killed there. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Donna Bell. I'm at N41W28582 Imperial Drive. And I am one of the early homeowners before the second subdivision was built, opening the road. It's more people from apartments that are just crashing through our street. They're going 50, 60 miles an hour, and there are little kids there. Some of them are on those little electric scooters. There's no trail anymore, no place for anyone to ride a bike. You can't even walk. But as soon as that road was opened, we started losing our mailboxes. One year, we replaced our mailbox 7 times. And every year, we have to replace mailboxes. One year, somebody speeding through there crashed and wrecked the whole mailbox, and the requirements for rebuilding it was $1,600. And that was a big ouch. And yes, there are 2 mailboxes, so we share with a neighbor. Recently, we had a carpenter, and we had all our fences coming into the entrance rebuilt. And he complained bitterly to me because he's done some work for me, and he said, all I do is holler at these cars speeding through here. He said, someone's going to be killed. And then one day, my key fob didn't work, and I'm in Walmart, and a guy offered to take me home to get my other set of keys. And boy, did he complain about the traffic. It's everybody, every one of my neighbors, and many others besides us have lost mailboxes. And these little kids, they have nowhere to go. We used to be able, my husband and I used to be able to take a walk. We can't anymore. There's no place to walk. And I really think that you made the biggest mistake of your life to open that road to the apartment people. And I still feel that you should be putting out some speed bumps, or you should be doing something to slow down that traffic. And it's true, nobody stops at stop signs. I watch them all the time. But I'm really concerned about the little kids. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else who'd like to make comments?
Thanks for listening. My name is Brenda Martinez. I live at W291 and 4193 Prairie Wind Circle. I'm married to Randy. He just spoke a few minutes ago. We've been in our home for 9 years. And again, I mean, I don't know if you can do a study on the accidents that have been on this road. We've had motorcycle crashes. We've had kids go airborne. Was it last year that a car went through and went up and took out culverts and driveways? This is...
That was my yard. That car ripped my drive.
Yeah, we're aware of the couple
I
accidents
mean,
that
it's
happened
just something to look into. We no longer have crosswalks. That was taken out. We no longer have walking paths. Our grandkids live down at the entrance. Last year, our granddaughter was 8 years old and was expected to walk to school on that road. There's nowhere to walk between Somerset Moors and Prairie Wind Farms, but she was expected to walk there. So they had to drive the kids to school because it wasn't safe for her. So I just, if you could take a look at this, because we've brought this up before. Randy and I have been here before, and someone is going to get hurt. And it's just a matter of time. So when I walk my dog a lot. When I cross the road, I just have to be careful when they're barreling down the hill, because there's nowhere they're going to stop there. There's just the one stop sign. So if you could at least take a look at this. This has been a problem we have been complaining about for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who'd like to speak? Seeing no other citizens' comments, I'm going to close the citizens' comments period and move. Oh. Go ahead. Thank you.
My name is Greg Hippus. I live at W291N4196 Prairie Wind Circle South. And we're right on the corner of Prairie Wind Circle and Imperial Drive. My wife and I were both retired, spend a lot of time outside doing yard things. The problem that you have is you've got a four-way stop there. Hardly, if 50% of the people that approach the intersection stop, that's amazing. And we're not just talking automobiles. We're talking big trucks, companies that have contracting businesses. They drive through. Barely even slow down. A lot of them don't. They just go through. Now, I've been in that subdivision since 2006. And with some of the first meetings that I attended here, there was a discussion about having speed bumps on Imperial. And I wasn't in particular agreement with having that in there, but I gotta say, I had tried those out in Waukesha County on some road in New Berlin and so forth, and I didn't think it was really gonna save the traffic problem any. But now I'm starting to think, yeah, maybe we need a lot of speed bumps here. I realize they're no good in the wintertime, but you gotta have something. You have no control there now. You have nobody policing that intersection. People drive at will, never stop, whatever. And yeah, maybe once in a while you have a sheriff's deputy go there and they're, parked for a day or an evening or whatever, but then you never see them again for a month or two. And I realize the budget doesn't allow all of that type of stuff. But you will have, as one of the ladies spoke about, eventually you're going to have blood on your hands because someone is going to die. There are a lot of children that are walking around there, a lot of children playing and so forth. We're smart enough to know, we, being myself, neighbors and so forth, we're looking both ways. When people are driving through, we're yelling at them and they're looking at us, giving us the middle finger. That's what you got here. You don't care probably, but that's all I got to say.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else who'd like to speak? Seeing no other comments, I'm going to close the citizens' comment period and move on to item 6, approval of the June 22nd, 2025 regular town board minutes.
Motion to approve July 22nd, 2025 town board minutes.
A second.
A motion and a second on the table to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. Motion passes 5-0. Next item would be item 7, approval of vouchers. I'd like for a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll.
Motion to approve payment of checks number 68845 through 68886 for $276,626.75. Checks number 6887 through 68920 for $3,592,161.94. August 1st payroll, August 1st, 2025 payroll for $16,786.65. August 15th, 2025 payroll for $15,187.87.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the accounts payable and the payroll. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, item 8, communications for discussion and possible action. 8A, Highway 83 resurfacing project update, if any. Well, I got a big update to provide to everybody this evening. Highway 83 is now open to local traffic between Gulf Road, and you can get all the way to KE Oakwood Road now. So hopefully that relieves the pressure on Maple Avenue. So that's exciting news that's happening. But you can only get to Oakwood KE. It's closed basically between Weno School to the north to Capitol there for the next couple months while they work on that section of the park. But just exciting that it's open. So just,
So that's, you said only, well, it's closed from Weno north, right? So KE, there, you still got like the, like there's the piano company and like a couple other industrial buildings out there, so you can get up into those.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Cool.
It's supposed to be done in October. So, but it's closed at Cardinal, so we can't take Cardinal to 83 or to the shopping center up there and the Pick and Save and stuff. So, got to go through Heartland or get on 16 and get off at 83.
Start.
So, no questions on that. The next item, our June 2025 Lake Country Fire and Rescue Report. There's 2 items that I'd like to point out on that report. The first is that this station, Station 31, was browned out for 15 days. That means that the station was dark. There was nobody servicing from this station. It's frustrating. As I stated previous meeting, it was closed 18 days in May, so 15 days in June. Good news is it was only closed 2 days in July. So they're making progress, like I stated at the last meeting, that things were turning in the right direction. But I also want to point out where the calls of service were going in June. The calls of service for Lake Country Fire and Rescue, about half of the calls were going to our neighbors, the city of Delafield. And then the next closest was the town of Delafield at 18% of the calls. So just keep that in mind as we, talk about Lake Country Fire and Rescue on the next agenda items as we move forward this evening, and as we, continue to read news articles and things about what's going on with Lake Country Fire and Rescue. Any questions on the report? Okay. So the next item is the July 2025 Waukesha County Sheriff's Report. It's in the packet. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on the report, or that we need to circle back with the Sheriff's Department on.
Actually, I have a question,
Sure.
yes. So it was brought to my attention that a resident in the town, she is the owner of 2 dogs. There was a biting incident back in March of this year. She contacted me directly to ask about the ordinance that we have supposedly in place, which I'm in the process of checking. But anyway, the question I have for the sheriff department is, do we have an ordinance that stipulates basically any dog owner that has a dog with a biting record in its history, will they have the obligation of getting rid of the dog? Are we talking one incident, two incidents? I mean, I guess that's where I'm going with this. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I would like you to, could you check the ordinance? We apparently have something in place.
Do you want me to put it on the first meeting in September to put what we have down there
Yeah.
and up for discussion?
That would be, yeah, I'd
Okay.
like to
Sure.
find out more about it.
Sure will.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right, thank you.
The next item would be the July Moody's rating report. Do they know that we're where the town of Delafield is located? I mean, that's my only concern or question, because if you could ask for a correction or ask to clarify that, you know, because we're not located along Lake Nakawika or the Upper Nabobbin Lake, so.
Either that or they're just not familiar with our
Geography.
penchant for having towns and cities of the same name.
So no other questions on that. You'll reach out and get clarification on the location, make sure they're looking at the right geographic location.
Yep, sure will.
Item E, August 2025 Budget to Escrow Report. Do you have any highlights or anything you would like to point out, or?
We're right on track. Unless you have any questions.
That's what I'd love to hear.
Item F, New Website Introduction.
Yeah, so I did send out an email prior to our other website going offline, just to let everybody know who was signed up for the Notify Me, that they would have to re-sign up for the e-Notify on the new website. Our new website's up and running. There's a couple things here and there that we've had to fix, but for the most part, we've had really positive feedback on the website and its functionality. So if you guys are able to get on there, I thank Magali and Supervisor Wolfley for the pictures that they sent in, that all the pictures on the website are from our residents. So if you have anything that you see that's not working, or if any residents tell you something's amiss, please let me know. I can fix it immediately. So.
Thank you.
Next item, Wisconsin Towns Association update. Just want to let everybody know that they've got some educational opportunities for town officials coming up. They got their fall workshops, virtual or in person in Fond du Lac. The Town Law Conference is coming up on Friday, October 31st, which is a virtual session. But it looks like they got some pretty interesting topics that might be of interest to the board. And then, of course, the town's annual convention in October at the Kalahari Resort up in the Wisconsin Dells is always a good opportunity to meet, network, and learn about topics facing the town. So I would encourage you to read your Towns Association magazine and sign up for those as you see your availability. Next item, a couple weeks ago, this area experienced some horrific flooding due to the weather. Luckily, we didn't get it as bad as our friends to the east, in the eastern part of the county in Milwaukee County, but we still experienced some damage, a lot of rain, some flooding. So thank you to our first responders, to the highway department for helping them clean up trees and all the work that they did to help return things to normal as best they could after that event. So everything for the first responders and the emergency management worked as it should, and all their training and protocols worked really well. So thank you for that. Next item, unfinished business. There is none. New business. Consideration possible action on a request from John Spheris, agent on behalf of William and Mary Karen Irwin, owner, to rezone approximately 3.13 acres of land from A1 Agricultural District to A2 Rural Home District, located at W330N247 Kettle Moraine Drive, to create a new residential parcel, tax key number DELT 0840.994.003, as recommended unanimously by the Town Plan Commission at their August 5th, 2025 meeting.
Do we need comments on that, or, I mean,
It,
it's pretty standard, so.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just looking for the motion?
We had a public hearing at our Plan Commission. The Plan Commission recommended unanimously approval of the rezone. It makes it a more conforming parcel, moving it from A1 to A2. So,
Motion to approve the request to rezone approximately 3.13 acres of land from the A1 Ag District to the A2 Rural Home District, located at W330N247 Kettle Moraine Drive, to create a new residential parcel, tax key DELT 0840.994.003.
Second.
motion is second to approve the rezone. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, consideration of possible action on a request from John Spheris, agent on behalf of William and Mary Karen Irwin, owners, W330N247 Kettle Moraine Drive, for approval of a certified survey map to create one additional residential parcel, tax key number DELT 0804.994.003, as recommended unanimously by the Town Plan Commission at their August 5th, 2025 meeting.
I motion to approve the certified survey map to create one additional parcel, tax key DELT 0804.994.003.
A second.
The only thing I would add it would be nice if they updated the signature pages, because Ron Troy is not the chairman, and Dan Green's not the town clerk, and Kevin Fitzgerald is not the chairman of the Town Plan Commission anymore. So motion and a second on the approval of the CSM. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, consideration and possible action on a request from Michael Tomlin, agent on behalf of Tom Beaudry, owner, to amend the site plan of operation on a property located at N47 W28229 Lindale Road, to allow for a Carvana fulfillment hub that utilizes the existing facilities on the site, as recommended unanimously by the Town Plan Commission at their August 5th meeting. So they're asking for a change to their conditional use permit. They've provided an updated plan of operation. Going to really operate no differently than create any more noise or traffic than the current car dealership was doing this. And it was recommended unanimously by the Town Plan Commission.
So I motion to approve the site plan, amend the site plan of operation on the property located at N47W28229 Lindale Road to allow for the Carvana fulfillment hub.
Just a quick comment or question.
Sure.
Do they estimate on the approximate number of like vehicles they plan on having there? And I mean, they say they're talking about storing or having 9 car haulers daily. I guess, do they anticipate how many vehicles they're gonna be moving out of there on a regular basis?
They didn't really have a number, but they explained that the vehicles aren't going to be sitting at this location for a very long time, that they're going to be brought there with their nine-car haulers, and then they're going to be delivered with the Isuzu flatbeds to the customers. And customers can also come to here and turn their vehicles over to be bought by Carvana to be turned over. And then some of the other vehicles are going to be brought in and then taken to their service centers in Illinois to be refurbished. So it's whatever vehicles they're going to have there are going to be quick turnaround and aren't going to be sitting on the lot for a long time. That was what the representative from Carvana told us at our April 5th meeting.
Yeah, he did emphasize that it was the Illinois location that you just referenced, it was their main one, so this was just ancillary. But one of the commissioners did ask that question about how many, and he really didn't get a straight answer. He just kept saying that it was a secondary location. I had a little concern originally, but again, it's not like they're moving in 24. They're not doing big, huge flatbeds of them.
Yeah,
And he did say it was going to be very short-term.
Oh, that they're gonna be using this facility? That it's gonna be short-term?
No, when the vehicles,
Oh,
the vehicles are going to be stopping at this.
That matters though, short term.
Right.
No lot wants anything to sit long term.
Right.
So, if they bring 9, if they have 50 new cars coming a day, I mean, they could have 200 cars on the lot before you know it.
Oh, and they're gonna,
Is it wrong to ask for a number?
30 people
I
working
think,
there.
I think the conditional use,
Allows
allows us a certain amount of cars, but it also limits the number of cars that they can have there based on the number of spaces they have. I mean, the property only has a certain carrying capacity of what can be out there.
They know that number.
I would hope so, and I think we could check with Rebecca to ensure that they,
He didn't have it when he was asked at the meeting, but again, if we have it, then we're bound by that. But that was, what you're hitting on was exactly one of my concerns originally, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 days a week with 30 employees a day and 9 car haulers, and then the trucks that bring them in. I mean, I'm not saying that's not a acceptable use for the property, but it's, to say that it's no different in traffic, which is what they had said is that's a hard one for me to believe. So, I mean, again, I guess, yeah, it's glad the property to be used and good to have people employed here. I'm not sure I'm buying their no difference in,
well, if the thing is that we as the town, if we have issues that occur or arise, we do have remedies to address those.
yeah, and I guess that's the concern. So as long as, so we can amend the conditional use permit for the hub of Carvana, but not change, like, it's not gonna impact the rest of the conditional use permit parameters.
Correct. All we're doing is we're
Okay.
just updating the site plan and updating the hours of operation. We're not changing any other of the
Okay.
conditions on the condition.
And we have it in our, we did double check, our hours of operation can go to 9 o'clock on a Saturday, PM. That was, I thought that seemed kind of late too, for just, if you're sitting on,
Are the closing hours 9 p.m.?
Monday through Saturday, 7 to 9.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
That's also when they can be operating, when they can be there. It doesn't necessarily
Mean that they
mean that
will.
they're going to be open air taking customers. So when people come for conditional uses, we ask them to err on the side of caution to ensure that, if they're there at 10 o'clock at night doing stuff, that they don't
well,
get in
now would be
trouble.
our time if we did feel like there was more information to table it and send it back to Plan Commission if there was things that we needed to verify. Otherwise, you're right, by law, I mean, but it seems like they're fitting it. I think we all have questions, but
I don't have a problem with the use. I'd just be curious, how many cars can they fit on the lot? Because as they do grow, does 50 become 200, become too many?
Well, we have a meeting in 2 weeks, so if we need to table this and clarify some of these questions, to feel more
I
comfortable.
don't think it changes the use of the property.
and that's what we have to vote on, right? So is the concern, that's the question, Michelle, is it, we all seem to have sort of the same concern, but what do we do about it?
You can either send it back to Plan Commission to give them this is the number of spaces and this is the maximum number of cars you can have, and put that in writing in the conditional use permit. Or you can approve it as is. There's really no other options out there than those two.
But I guess the clarity on the fact that allowing for Carvana to use it as a hub
Right.
doesn't change the number of vehicles that's already in the conditional use report. And that was, I guess, that generally satisfies my concern.
Right.
Like, they're not gonna suddenly start stacking them,
But if we
No.
don't have a number down, no one will
Right.
ever know. It'll be
Yeah, but
There
I
are
mean, what I'm
currently
saying
no
is
lines
it's,
painted
it is
out there.
already in their conditional use permit currently, which
Mm-hmm. But
means,
I don't think it's an exact number,
oh,
because I don't think there's any parking lines left on the blacktop. So, like for like, you can say, okay, but if they start like,
right.
yeah.
Because again, I mean, when you talk about their employees operate in 2 shifts of about 15 advocates per shift. I'm assuming they call their employees advocates. So if you're talking, there's 30 people a day in and out there, there's 30 more cars, or in any sort of overlap, there's 28 more cars, I'm guessing. So, and then if you're talking about then the vehicles that they're storing, and it's fine that they're not for sale, they're not for test drive, they're not being serviced, that's in and out hub, and they're doing some light detail work. Yep, it's fine, get it. But yeah, I guess if there's not a already defined number of what quantity of vehicles is in the conditional use permit for Cassandra's, then that gives me a little pause.
We can send it
Thoughts?
back to Plan
Yeah,
Commission.
Back to
I
Plan
wouldn't
Commission,
recommend tabling it because that doesn't solve the issue. You'd have to put it back to Plan Commission for additional action,
Do we have,
essentially.
I guess I didn't pull it prior. We know what Cassandra's typically kept on their lot, quantity-wise?
I can tell you, because I drove
Handful.
Yeah.
multiple times.
Right.
to go outside or something. Anything.
Yeah, I think
30 is very
at the
generous.
height of their operation,
Yeah.
they maybe had,
Right.
50
Yes.
cars there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them were inside, but
And a
I mean,
bunch
on the lot.
inside.
But the other thing is the cars are all cars that you kind of might enjoy seeing, they're fun things to look at. You didn't see anything that was a $15,000, 20-year-old car with 200,000 miles on it either, so there was no traffic there, no one cared.
Right.
I'm sure the people at Lindale Farms are not gonna be excited about this type of traffic coming
That was the concern, I think, that we probably all have, is that,
their way.
right.
So I mean, I'm fine if it's within the use, but I would just like to know myself, because if I drive by one day and there's 250 cars, but we don't know that there can only be 100,
Right.
nobody's gonna say anything. I don't think that the cars are gonna move quick.
Yeah.
Business, we want them to, but that's not real.
I would also caution not to say here in this town board meeting that that you would impose a limit. Sending it back to Plan Commission would allow them to look at the history of Cassandra's
Just wanna know what
and
it is.
see how the language is written and then get something in there potentially. That's up to you.
Yeah, I
It doesn't change the use of it, though.
Correct.
What I'm asking doesn't change the use of it.
Right.
No, but if we need to have more comfort to be able to approve it, I mean, that's why the Plan Commission's for. Let's send it back to the Plan Commission and get those questions
We asked
answered.
them to get the answer. I'm comfortable sending it back to get the answer.
We currently have a first to approve it.
So should we motion to
If there's
amend?
no
There was not
second,
there was not a second to the
second.
motion.
then it fails. And there's no second, I'm just clarifying? Okay. Now the table is open for you to make a different motion.
We amend to motion to send it back to Plan Commission?
I guess I don't want to step on your toes, but I would ask that for them to come up with a set number
Oh, right.
that's consistent with
Exactly, that'll be part of the
prior
motion,
use, yeah.
is that to send back to Plan Commission to review capacity, previous quantity, and update the maximum capacity of vehicles that can be on premise at a time. Am I wording that correctly?
Yeah, so you're making a motion to refer it back to the Town Plan Commission to
Clarify.
clarify the number of vehicles that could be on the property at any given time
A second.
for sale. Motion and a second to approve the motion to send it back to the Plan Commission. All in favor, say aye.
Can I amend it real quick? And I mean specifically all cars. So employee cars,
Yeah.
service
Yes.
cars,
Yes.
total number of vehicles on the property at any given time.
No, your point is well taken. With that many employees, that right there is that many more cars. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Won't interrupt anymore.
Motion.
Have not-
There's a motion on the
Oh, go ahead.
table to refer it back to the Plan Commission to clarify the maximum number of cars that could be on the property at any given time. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is sent back to the Plan Commission on a 5-0 vote.
So we have not posted the Plan Commission agenda yet. I can still probably get it on there for the for the September Plan Commission.
Which is next Tuesday.
Yep.
Next item is consideration and possible action on a request from David and Andrea Mahalovich, owners N20 W29977 Glen Cove Road, for the approval of a certified survey map to combine two existing lots into one lot of record, tax key number DELT 0810.076, as recommended unanimously by the Plan Commission at their August 5th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve the request to combine, the approval of the certified survey map combining two existing lots of record to tax key number DELT 0810.076.
A second.
Motion is second to approve the CSM. I would just ask again that the signature pages get updated. So motion is second to approve the CSM for the Mahaloviches. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The CSM is approved 5-0. Can we take item J out of order? I'd ask somebody to make a motion if we could do that.
Motion to take item J out of order and be heard now.
A second.
So motion is second to take item J out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're going to take item J out of order, which is the consideration of the proposed no-through trucking sign on Imperial Drive. Yes, Imperial Drive has been a issue for as long as I've been on this body. It is a super speedway between the Hartridge subdivision to Highway KE and to North Shore Drive to Highway 16. We've added stop signs. We added speed boards. Unfortunately, the road was kind of had built-in speed bumps, and got kind of, once it got repaved, it became even more of a super speedway. We don't have a full-time police department. We have 40 hours of contracted sheriff's deputies, and they can't be there all the time. They've been focused on, with 83, they've been focused on, Maple Avenue and the four-way stop here, and Highway C, and there's other areas in the town that have the same issue with speeders. So what's in front of us this evening is the request for a no-through trucking sign, which is the same sign that the Village of Heartland has there. As much as I'd like to, close it down and shut it down to through traffic, that's in direct violation of our border agreement with the Village of Heartland, and that would cause more problems than it would be than solving it. So, it comes down to enforcement and trying to get more enforcement. And when it was repaved, the lines were painted differently than were previously there. I'm aware of that. So if anybody has any questions, we have the memo from the administrator. Do you have anything to add to your memo, or?
So for the cost-effective options on, I believe it's the second page, there are 4 bullet points there that you can either go through individually and indicate whether or not you want to do those, or, pick out the ones that you want me to move forward with.
It sounds like the issue wasn't just the trucks, it was also just the cars. I mean, and I know our options seem to be more geared. I know that there was the one option about just no through, but I'm seeing a lot of things about trucks. And I know that we talked about how people roll through the stop sign. Is there a, looks like we didn't talk about the option of, you put the lights on the stop sign? I'm just brainstorming.
The original email, further up in the memo, did not include some of the comments that were given tonight, so I didn't have any recommendations on additional car traffic, but that would be more difficult to stop in that area than the trucks would be.
Yeah, you're gonna be hard to stop the cars. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's a shortcut. It's a,
Right.
to get up to Heartland, and to avoid having to go all the way through KE, and it's been exasperated with, all the construction in the area, but it is a super speedway between, KE to past the sheep farm. I mean, fortunately, Prairie Wind does have a nice trail along the side of their subdivision. So.
What about the speed bumps?
We've looked at, the speed bumps. I mean, they're going to be hard on the plow trucks, in the winter, and
Right.
they're going to be hard on people's, cars, and I'm not necessarily a fan of speed bumps. It comes down to, like when we do have enforcement there, the people the sheriff pulls over are, people that live
Right there.
that live right there, or live up in Heartland, and I got a friend that lives there, and he contacts me regularly about, he walks his dog, and he doesn't, he gets run over, thinks, and it's a difficult, tough decision, but it comes down to, I mean, I'm aware of those accidents that happened. The one was a reckless driver, and the other one was a somebody who was driving under the influence, and, it's hard to, we could put all the laws on the books and it's just hard to, I mean, those things unfortunately happen. And it's, the property damage that happened, and those were, I've seen the pictures, and they were horrific accidents, but I don't think that they're necessarily the norm. It comes down to, the looking at ways to improve, safety, whether, we restripe and add the crosswalks, or try to add a bigger pedestrian lane. And I know, we're going to talk about, trails here at some point too, whether we look at, extending the trail of, from Prairie Wind all the way down to KE to create some kind of sidewalks. I mean, I know we're a town, but it comes down to having the sheriff and law enforcement, sitting out there and, getting people who, roll those stop signs. And, we've talked to Heartland, and it sounds like the sheriff and Heartland, work well together, but we gotta get them out there more consistently.
The Village of Heartland talked, or like, obviously our section of this is an effectively straight line, right? With the exception of Prairie Wind Circle, we have a effectively straight line. So closing anything is really out of the question, right? Like, DOT's not gonna allow that. But, when you look at places within the Hartridge subdivision, has Heartland done any sort of, consideration on maybe blocking off the east-west traffic at Wexford Court, or effectively not making this a straight-through path where it will not save time if people want to clip the corner?
How about roundabouts?
Well, roundabouts are, that's a whole nother, you've got to take a whole bunch of extra right away and build a whole big chunk of infrastructure, right? So maybe a roundabout, but I've been to Wexford Court and Imperial. I don't think there's the quantity of room there to do that. but it's not out of the norm to have, subdivisions that stop traffic in a direction, right? It's just that we have one entrance to this, so we can't. So I don't know what the Village of Heartland has done to either address or look at this. But they may have some more options that can alleviate some of the quantity of traffic on there than we do. Well, I'm happy to talk about through trucking signs and repaint crosswalks. If you're dealing with a quantity of people who are going to roll and blow a stop sign, I'm not really sure they're going to take extra attention to through traffic and kids in a crosswalk, unfortunately.
Pedestrian lanes don't sound safe either. I mean, we need a different pathway
Yeah.
than a pedestrian lane.
And the speed bumps, I mean, they're effective. I know they're a pain for the residents who live there, but if it brings it safer, how awful is it on the
Speed bumps
plow?
and speed humps are different, right?
Well,
So
I'm
speed
talking about-
bumps, you're gonna get taken out by a snowplow, right? Those get replaced every year. That's like the just asphalt on top of the road.
Yeah, just the big hump or whatever
yeah, But a speed hump, they're gonna like asphalt it into the drive, right? And it's usually much wider and longer and. if
What's
you
the
hit
city of
that-
Milwaukee's doing so that they don't, those things? I guess, is that out of the question?
I can look into it. I don't think it's recommendation for this type of side street with a straight shot.
Remember back when the arbors
Yep.
cut off the entrance? So I think, again, we're just brainstorming here. So that's not an option either.
It's not an option because of the connection to the Village of Heartland and the border agreements that we have to have that thoroughfare
And we
there.
only have one entrance there.
So we have to.
So we have to have that open. And I don't even, that too, and I'm sure that because the DOT has say on how many entrances and exits subdivisions get as well. So unfortunately, it's not we can't just stop it there, right? Like we can't roadblock it at Imperial Drive in North Shore.
And it's not good traffic engineering. I mean, it's good, the good traffic engineering is to have the ingress and egress and have that access for, public safety too, so.
I mean, you could do I hate all the traffic calming stuff that they do in Milwaukee because I'm not really sure it's effective. But, they have the, traffic calming, essentially curbed chicanes, right, at crosswalks, right? So they'll bring a curb out. So if you can get two cars by at the same time, it's really narrow. But again, I don't know that when you don't have sustained side-by-side traffic, how much people are going to slow down to go through a narrowed part of the road.
Yeah, we're not going to solve this issue this evening. I think the residents have come and asked, for us to at least the minimum,
Yep.
Install those no-through trucks to stop the commercial traffic, cutting through there. And I think, that's a reasonable, cost-effective, measure to look at this. And as a board, we can, definitely look into, other options to appease the residents' request to make sure that we make this road safer and continue the discussion and do more studies and look at it and see what options we have. But I think at a minimum, we should at least look at installing the no-through truck traffic to be consistent with the Village of Heartland and, at least look at, some pedestrian warning signs and, continue to ask our sheriff's department to step up enforcement on Maple or on Imperial. And then, look at what it would take to, put the crosswalks and the pedestrian lanes, that were taken out back in there. I think that's all the residents are asking for right now.
Yeah, I'm fine with all those things. If we could also maybe, I don't know if you have a contact with Heartland and see if they've done any sort of investigation into traffic calming or anything along Imperial.
When I did speak with the DPW at Heartland, they did not seem to have the same concerns that we had because their sections are not straight straightaways. And they also have the dedicated police force, which they have had in that subdivision and have not witnessed the same things that the residents are witnessing.
It's also not going down a hill, and it's flat in Hartridge, so.
Sort of. Wexford Court's a hill.
Yeah.
So, but it's running the other way. That's north-south, and it's not directly through.
And by posting these signs and the police enforcing them, it's ticketable then? By just having the sign up, that means an offender can be ticketed? By just having the sign posted, okay?
And you prove that they're not driving through. It's not a landscaping truck bringing
That's the thing,
load of
proof.
mulch to somebody in Heartland.
Well, and then, and the no through traffic that's really what, because we're hearing that it's not just the trucks, but it's also the cars, but then to make it enforceable, you have to like be following the car through and make sure it's not just cutting through. I recognize that's more, but I don't know if that might be the better way to go to make it a little, I don't know, just
Well,
throwing it out.
we can't say no through traffic. We can't say cars can't.
Well, I
get-
suppose, because then they can't get to the, okay, I'm just trying to make it more general that it would apply to cars and not just the trucks.
No, and selfishly, I want to be able to drop my son off at Heartland South and be able to get to Highway 16, so.
That's not through traffic.
Right.
Dropping somebody. So, well, again, I mean, are we looking for a motion on any or all of these, or do we want to?
Any or all, you give me the direction and I will move forward with it.
I think everything that Ed suggested is where we need to be.
I mean, we're talking as far as immediate expense, about $1,400. That's not anything is that a
Not earth shattering, no.
impact to the budget that needs to be addressed? Okay.
So, Ed, if you want to encapsulate what you had initially said,
Yeah, so I
love to
would,
write it down.
I would make a motion that we direct the town staff, town DPW, to initiate the cost-effective option consistent with the MU TCD to install the no-through truck signage at both ends of Imperial Drive with an estimated cost of $1,000. Add the pedestrian warning signage to alert drivers of foot traffic. Continue sheriff patrols and targeted enforcement in the area to address speeding, inattentive driving, and people blowing the four-way stop. And evaluate the feasibility of restriping the crosswalk pedestrian lanes in the next roadway maintenance cycle.
Got it. I need a second?
Is there a
second.
Thank you.
So there's a motion and a second to that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thanks.
Let's go back to item E. Lake Country Fire and Rescue 2026 budget, funding formula, and IMA update. The good news is that the Lake Country Fire and Rescue Fire Board did pass and recommend to the municipalities the adoption of the 2026 budget with the caveat that the IMA is amended to at least exceed the CPI plus 2 cap, because what they're recommending is a budget that exceeds that CPI plus 2 cap. So that's good. The budget will be coming to us through the normal budget process. But what's in front of us is the funding formula / IMA update to memorialize that funding formula change. So just to kind of recap the history of where we're at with Lake Country Fire and Rescue. So September 1st, 2020, this town board approved becoming part of Lake Country Fire and Rescue effective January 1st, 2021. At that time, the funding formula that is in place and was in place at that time was basically from the current partners, City of Delafield, Neshota, and Shaniqua, said, this is the formula. If you'd like to join,
They really need to stop talking. Sorry, I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time focusing,
No.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. September 1, 2020, the town board approved joining Lake Country Fire and Rescue effective January 1, 2021. At that time, the formula was not negotiable. It was take it or leave it. This is the formula. And that formula was created by the city of Delafield, Neshota, and Shaniqua at the time. In 2022, the fire chief sounded the alarm bells over the staffing issues, the paid-on-call volunteer model, that the assumptions that were built into us joining Lake Country Fire and Rescue fell apart because of COVID and because of, just, it fell apart. And, having been on this board since 2015 and hearing, our town fire chief talk about staffing challenges, it was no surprise at the time that we would have to transition from the volunteer paid-on-call fire service to a full-time fire department. So the fire board and the chief, they developed a staffing plan to hire 22 additional firefighter EMT positions to fill the shifts, 3 shifts, 4 people at a station. So they developed a plan to do that. It was adopted by the fire board November 22. April 23, the town approved a referendum to exceed the levy limits to hire 14 of those positions. September of 23, I think we all remember the Kettle Moraine meeting that we had when the city went to closed session for an hour and a half and, really didn't treat us nicely and didn't really respect our time. And we said, at that time, if you will fund these additional positions, we'll do a funding study with the policy forum. They didn't take that deal at that time, and, we had to, play games and, go in and say, hey, actually you got more ESEs than you're showing on your spreadsheet, so you can come up with some of the additional money to fund these positions. I issued a press release at that time, asking them to do that, and that I was disappointed in the way the process was happening at that time. We got through it. We got an IMA amendment to exceed the levy cap at that time. Then, last year, we went back and forth. The city said, hey, we want a funding formula change. We want a funding formula change. We said, are you gonna fund these positions or not? We need a commitment to fund the staffing plan. We didn't get as many positions as we wanted last year, so we got the IMA amendment to exceed the levy cap, the CPI plus 2 cap, and last fall we started with working with the policy forum on a funding formula change, and we worked back and forth. We had many meetings with the policy forum. We negotiated with our partners in the city. On a funding formula with the policy forum mediating that change. In May, I brought that formula to this body. We approved it unanimously. That same formula change, which was getting rid of the fixed portion of the formula, making it 100% through the variables. The proposed funding formula change is 60% call volume, 20% EV, 20% population. That was brought to the City Common Council in May. It was approved on a 5-2 vote. And then, they had their July meeting. first time they really talked in open session, because everything that they had done up to this was closed sessions without a lot of action or a lot of comments after that. So they had their meeting in July. After, and in July, they published their agenda and they went and said, hey, we got to do our due diligence. Let's see what Western Lakes can give us. Because they're still not happy with the formula that they negotiated, even though they passed it by their common council. There was a meeting last Thursday at the city of Delafield with the electeds and the administrators, and they wouldn't address the elephant in the room of, what their game plan is, whether they're 100% truly committed to Lake Country Fire and Rescue, what their issue is or what their concern is with the funding formula that was negotiated and was passed by their common council on a 5-2 vote. And I just don't feel that there's a sense of urgency from our partners in the city to resolve this in a timely manner, that they're holding us hostage, waiting to see what Western Lakes is gonna give them. We got to put a budget number in here. We got to figure this out, and at least 26, because the contract says they can't leave for 2 years if they want to leave. I really hope they don't leave. I really, hope that, we can work this out and figure this out, and be partners. But it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because, at that July meeting, they kept talking about brown out this, brown out that. Well, why are there brownouts? Because they halted and slowed down the staffing plan to hire people. I mean, if, the staffing plan would pretty much be implemented by now had we followed the plan that was laid out in November of 22. Like I said, like I gave in the LCFR report, this station was closed 15 days in June, 18 days in May. It got better. I mean, Chief Fenning said it was only closed 2 days in July. So, I mean, we're turning in the right direction, but, we are, we need to get the staffing plan implemented. The city's been crying that they want a funding formula change because they don't feel that it's equitable and fair to them. We've negotiated a funding formula change, which takes them from 41% to about 36%. As I noted in the LCFR June report, almost 50% of the calls are going to the city of Delafield. So, I mean, we got to figure this out, and my phone's open and I'm ready to meet with any of their common council members or their mayor to figure this out, but they need to be willing to come to the table to do this. And they got to stop playing the game of chicken with public safety here, because that's what they're doing, and it's not fair to any of us, and it's really risking the public safety of everybody here. So,
Well, what I find mostly concerning through the different meetings we've had, obviously over the last 3 years, is I don't believe the city has the trust that Chief Fennig deserves to have. I hear constant questioning from the city about numbers.
yeah, I mean, the numbers are big. The number to run a full-time fire department, they're big numbers. It's expensive. It's about $3 million per station. But that $3 million is in line with what it costs, with what other full-time fire departments in the area are paying. You can read the consultant report that the Village of Heartland had for what it's going to cost to, make them a full-time department. The numbers aren't out of whack. I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm smarter than the fire chief and smarter than the people that, do this and say, well, I think, we can do it for, a lot less. I got a guy, and I know a guy who can, it's just like, no, we're paying for full-time professional firefighters, and they cost money, and it's about $3 million a station. So, Western Lakes, they got 5 stations, their budget is $15 million. So, at the end of the day, hopefully the city takes some action on 26 and is willing to take some action on 26 while we wait and see what Western Lakes provides to the city. You know, I just got to level set my expectations that this isn't going to get done, you know, pretty much before Halloween, which is frustrating because it needs to get done.
It's be done 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
And speaking of
Thank you for the
Halloween,
very thorough recap. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, yeah.
so speaking of Halloween, trick or treat dates for 2025.
We've been getting a lot of phone calls lately, and I tried to encapsulate what the concerns of the residents were in the memo. I also did a history between us and the city of Delafield. I know that we're not always, in line with the city, but some of the residents thought it would be unfair for the children to get 2 trick-or-treats and take advantage of both communities. It's up to you. We've normally done it on Halloween between the hours of 4 and 7.
Motion to approve
I would ask.
trick or treat hours for October 31st from 4 to 7 as we have for the past several years.
I would ask that we start at like 4:30 or 5 because the kids aren't even out of school at 4.
That's true, yeah.
And then do we go till 8? I know that the
Up to you.
concern is police, I'm agreeing that, maybe start a little later to get everybody home, having a smidgen of daylight though, but do we then compromise and go a smidgen? I'm 100% agreement, let's leave it on the 31st. Parents can decide themselves whether they want their kids to go to 2 trick-or-treats, that's a parental decision.
We've done it
But-
5 to 8 in the past, and we can encourage maybe that they light themselves up if it's dark out.
The only reason to start at 4 is the kids who go with their friends to a buddy's house and they go out in those neighborhoods right after school. And the younger kids who go when it's light. That's why it's nice to start at 4. If you guys want to keep it till 8, great. I wouldn't make it later. I would just say 4 to 8 then.
Then it kind of compromises it. I mean, I'm good with that, make it 4 to 8. It's kind of long, but at the same token, it helps people get out in the daylight and do it with their buddies, and then it helps working parents do it with their
Out
kids.
there from 4 to 8.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't, it's, some times there's 6 inches of snow on the ground.
Unfortunately, yes.
Where it's 60.
You don't know.
Right.
Did you want to change your motion for the time?
Sure. 4 to 8 is.
4 to 8.
Perfect.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second to set the town of Delafield trick or treat hours for October 31st, 2025, from 4 to 8 p.m.
A second?
No, yeah, there's a motion.
Second,
No,
sorry.
yeah,
So we're supposed to
yeah, there's a
say
motion
all?
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, item G, consideration of an ordinance to create section 9.16 of the Town of Delafield Municipal Code to prohibit truancy.
This was a recommendation of the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Kubiak. I'm going to butcher her name no matter what I say. But anyway, so she had brought it up a while ago just to give the schools and us some leverage when it comes to students that are skipping class. You know, if they skip a certain number of classes, they can be in violation. And she would like the tool to help the school and the parents make sure that their kids are in school. So other communities that are doing this include like Menominee Falls, Waukesha, McGuanago, Delafield, and a couple others. So we wouldn't be, leading the way in any of this. This is just another tool for the Sheriff's Department.
So what does this do? Gives the sheriff's department the authority to,
Ticket.
well, more importantly, to stop a teenager who may not be accompanied by an adult. I don't like that.
Okay.
And my question too, for just discussion, is the age. I mean, I don't feel like it needs to be, I'd want to have a little bit more flexibility.
How do they know age? How do they know if somebody is really 22 years old, but they look like they're 15?
Sure.
And they're not,
Or you can say like, okay, yeah, I'm a 5-year-old, a 3K, 5K, or can you just, if the parent decides not to send their 3K to school, are they going to be?
The idea is a great idea, but the problem is much bigger than leaving it up to a sheriff's department to say, it's questionable. And then, again, You guys can give your opinions. I think we're overstepping our bounds.
Is it mostly come from the sheriff's office? We haven't had the schools asking us for a tool? That's why I'm just curious.
I think the schools were working with the sheriff's department. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight to speak to the item, but it's been in talks for a couple months, from what I understand. So it was between her and the resource officers at the schools was where this kind of came up.
How many times does a kid under the age of 18 leave high school to go to a doctor's appointment because they have their own driver's license, and now they gotta be worried about getting stopped? You know, and that's.
Oh, and see, I was understanding it that this was coming in place because maybe you have, and I've heard of this, like you've got school, somebody who, for whatever reason, they're just not going to school. Not just like a one-time going to the doctors, but they're just like, I'm checked out, I don't want to do it.
That's a different issue.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm still trying to get at, the why we're doing this.
He can lend more credibility to this, but that's not the norm. The norm is a kid leaving once or twice a semester or a month to go to a doctor's, a dentist, or whatever, and now this opens up the door for any child who appears to be under the age of 18 to potentially be stopped during school hours.
So I read that a little differently.
Okay.
And so again, having someone from the sheriff department may be able to give us a little heads up on this. Found to be truant, as defined herein, shall be subject to one or more of the following dispositions in order for the juvenile to attend school. So I took that as you've got someone who's habitually absent, the school has ordered them to attend, and so that effectively, where I need your input, that they say, hey, John Smith has not been in school. If you see John Smith, give him a truancy ticket. Is that? So it's not even that you have to find them. It's literally that, hey, they haven't been here and we want them ticketed. It's not that you're like, hey, there's a young person driving, let me pull them over and find it out. Okay. Because I guess that's how, generally how I read it is.
And that's
there's
how
the
I
order
was
for
reading it
Again,
too.
I understand it makes, so then you're out looking for that person based on this ordinance.
Yeah, so you're not,
Gives them a tool, gives them a mechanism of something official to go on, is what it sounds like.
And what's the ticket? What is the offense? Misdemeanor?
no, it's an ordinance violation.
Okay.
So you're just, they got the schedule there. But so. Yeah, and also, it's not something implemented on, hey, there's 3 kids hanging out in front of Best Buy, like, let's go shake them down.
Okay, so then how many of these repeat offenders do you see after you give them one violation, one notice, or a ticket? Okay. I mean, is this an issue that parents should be dealing with or law enforcement?
That was my gut feeling, is that this should be, parents should be just dealing with this. That was my gut feeling reading this, is that this isn't our business and we should just let the parents do it. But if the police are looking for our assistance, my big thing was the age too. I just don't want to have, 5-year-olds saying, okay, I'm getting a ticket just because mom's going to take them out for something. But, so the recommendation is that we align. I'm not sure I'm all buying into this stage here too. Direct request, legal review.
Well,
Yeah.
it says, like, if if your kid's got a doctor's appointment or if you want to take your kid out for some reason,
Give them a note, right?
yeah, it says, as long as the school's been notified of a legal cause of such absence by the parents or guardian. Or,
Which you would be deeming this as an excused absence.
Right.
Yeah, the only other questions that come to mind is how often does this come up in our area where
They're all good questions. I mean, if you want to table it and see if we can get a school resource officer or get somebody with some data to, you know, I mean, this has been in talks for, I mean, there's no, you know, there's no harm in, you know.
And just so
Ta-
you know, there's
tabling it.
already a process in place where the school will send a letter to the parents. Systematically, like, I think it's twice a year, where they will say, your kid has been absent for that many days out of school.
I think the parents know at the point that we're getting to this, that their kids are not,
Yeah, so this is, I mean,
It's not a Ferris Bueller day off kind of a thing.
right?
it's,
Which is where I started.
I agree, but that's where in the reading of this, I feel like this is the teeth that come after the school resource officer and the school have tried to get some compliance. This gives some teeth, right? Like, okay, we're suspending your driver's license. Wait till your parents find out what a suspended driver's license does to your insurance. All the, like, you know, so, if, I'm happy to table it,
Is that what this leads to?
yeah, well, I mean, when you look at, number 3, I mean, all or part of the forfeiture plus costs may be assessed to, any person on the, subject to one or more of the following. I mean, number 1, suspension of their driver's license.
I'd be interested, you know, just to hear the numbers as to why we need the ordinance in place. I don't think it's terrible, I don't think it's great, but why do we need it?
I mean, it would be reasonable if you want to capture data from the 25-26 school year. I can bring this item back next year in June when school's out.
Yeah, I
If you
mean,
want,
they may already have it from
current
last
data.
year.
Yeah, even if they
Sure.
have it, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go either way on it. It's just, if it is an issue, I'm happy to, I think it's beneficial for law enforcement to have something that they can kind of, you know, move the needle with. But also, yeah, I'm not interested in it being used to chase off kids because they will feel like it.
yeah,
Not that I think you would.
a parent might be upset at their child, they're going to be, when they get a 300 or whatever it was, a 70, what was it?
Yeah, anywhere from 75 to
300
300. yeah.
dollar ticket, right, that leads to other things. I mean, this is gonna be a slippery slope that they already know is going on. Now we're adding fuel to the fire by making this now a legal issue that they know is an issue.
And then there's the case that I know of people that have received letters already from the school when their child has missed an enormous amount, but it's not that they're just hanging out at the Best Buy, they're usually at an athletic thing, but they definitely still get the letters. That usually they just kind of work it out. So, again, I don't necessarily want to, that's my gut feeling, I'm fine either getting data, I'd really like to hear more, but Deputy
to get
Kubasiak isn't, she's the one who can fill us in of really why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Motion to table until we have some prior data or further information.
For a second to table, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes, we're tabled 5-0.
Got it.
Next item, consideration on a resolution recognizing Deputy Kubasak for her service to the town of Delafield. Like to adopt this resolution of the town of Delafield recognizing Deputy Kubasak for her service to the town of Delafield. Stated, whereas Deputy Kubasak has faithfully served the residents of the town of Delafield as part of the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, providing safety, security, and professional presence in our community, and whereas Deputy Kubasak has gone above and beyond her daily duties by submitting valuable recommendations to improve the town's municipal code and enhance public safety practices, and whereas her dedication and professionalism have reflected positively on both the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department and the town of Delafield, and whereas Deputy Kubasak has accepted an opportunity to further her career as a K-9 officer with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, fulfilling her lifelong professional goal, and whereas the town of Delafield is grateful for her service and wishes to recognize her contributions in the town's permanent record. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Delafield hereby acknowledges and thanks Deputy Kubasak for her dedicated service, her efforts to improve our community, and the safety she's provided to our residents. Be it further resolved that the town board expresses its pride in her accomplishments, congratulates her on achieving her goal of becoming a K-9 officer, and wishes her every success in her new role with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. I'd like to adopt this today, so I'd look for a motion to adopt the resolution as I just read.
Motion to adopt resolution has been read.
A second.
Motion is second to adopt the resolution recognizing Deputy Kubasak All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted 5-0. Next item, consideration of the proposed trail plan on Maple Avenue.
Kick us off.
Want to kick us off?
Uh,
you said
no,
no.
you, would
Yeah,
you like to? I don't,
so-
I'm not sure
yeah,
which
so,
part we're looking for.
You know, Mr. Smith, Chris Smith, proposed, you know, a trail plan. He put a lot of work into it. He gave some public comments, you know, saying we don't need to make a lot of decisions this evening, but, you know, it's something to, you know, consider doing. Our administrator wrote us a really nice memo of some of the challenges and opportunities of the proposed trail plan. So really, this evening, this board can, you know, give direction on what we want to do to, you know, maybe memorialize some of this stuff and see what might be feasible, what might not be feasible. Really, it's long-term, you know, planning of, you know, potential ways to, you know, improve the community.
Yeah, thank you for the work you did. Appreciate it. You know, I look at this and I obviously there's some challenges in space along Maple, but also see some really great opportunities in here. I've kind of long thought that whole wetland section of Agawicka Park that includes the boat launch has been kind of underutilized, inaccessible. You know, I think that the cutoff trail, right, that off of the current bike trail back to the public launch in that proposed area, that's great. Again, I don't know I know it's a little squishy back there, so I don't know what what you got to do to get it there. But you know, I mean, again, all theoretically good and great. My biggest concerns would be along the Maple Avenue piece, which obviously I think is probably the biggest hindrance in cost and space, right? Like, that's tight. There's I don't know what it is that we have for right of way in easements along Maple Avenue that can be utilized at all.
It would not be able to fit a 14-foot wide path. It would probably have to be something at least half of that size.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more we can connect, the better. You know, I think we need to explore what we can and can't do, but, you know, and I'd like to see even more connected than we're even showing here. I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be great to have trails that connect everywhere around the lake, around, you know, in one fashion or another, not necessarily on the lake, but this is great. I mean, that, for certain, I don't think the solution for Imperial Drive is putting pathways on the road, you know. It needs to be a trail, because if we're not gonna slow down cars, this is a great solution to all of that. We use them, we love them, so, it's a shame when they don't connect and you gotta turn around.
Yeah. I mean, that section, so these pages aren't numbered, but
Planning
Area
area
A, right? And they've got the green lines. So basically west of the green lines, south of the green line, and then east of the blue line. I mean, that is all, there used to be a house there. They built that big retention pond. If memory serves, they considered doing some dredging work at the launch, and that was going to be the dredge pit. There's a lot. I mean, there's a ton of space there that's just completely underutilized. And if it's not going to get used for anything, you know, by all means, like, let's connect it to the park and let people be able to sit at the dock or whatever. You know, I think that section, that piece right there, certainly makes the most sense as far as not having to disrupt or impact neighbors. And yeah, I mean, it's, I think the otherwise already addressed pieces about Maple Avenue. So.
I think, okay, I think we all agree we love trails, and I think that's come up pretty consistently. And talking to the town, Wisconsin Towns Association, again, really what this consistent thing, and talking to them and talking to the city of Delafield is when they did it, what I learned is that, the best option is if we can get grant money. Grant money comes out every couple years. It looks like actually City of Delafield, I think in the notes it said it was 300. He said it actually came a little bit under budget. It was 288, and half of it was going to be paid for by a grant. So, and I think really it comes out to, we can look at all this, make some plans, and kind of put it into a master plan so we can just chip away at getting it done. I think because we all love the idea. I originally, when I read this about the 10 to 14 feet, 12 to 14, I thought that seemed huge. But I went out and measured the Lake Country Trail, which I thought would have been like 5 or 6 feet, but it's actually 10, because I was like, oh, that's huge. So, and then the other thing I learned was that it needs to be at least 10 in order to get the grant money. So that was just my gut feeling is, we can just do it at 5 or 6 feet. So right. So 10 feet, I get it now, we need to make it 10 feet. I think grant money is really how we're going to make it happen. When you did what sounds like what you worked, that was 80% funded because it was federal, city, and town. I think we all think it's a great idea. It's just what's next. I think like when we do our survey, when we do our town, how we're going to do the survey when we send out our taxings, that's one of the things we can ask is try to get a citizen action group to help be part of this, whether we do some fundraising, whether we help us plan it. I think most people will agree, great idea, so thank you for bringing it to our attention again. It's just how do we do it all? And I think we just got to make a plan, make a master plan, chip away at it, get some grant money. So who's going to be in charge of applying for the grants? Is that something we can motion to staff? I'm not motioning, I'm just discussing what our motion could be to have staff help us determine when our next bit of grant money is coming out and to how do we implement this into a master plan.
I got a question just as a little off topic, but not topic, but this county park, does that have to, does, in the process, right, do we as the town say, hey, county, this is what we'd like you to do with this park that's in our town? Like, I guess or is
Budget.
all of the,
The first steps is them to say, hey,
Yeah, so it's having meetings with the other
yeah,
partners
right,
who own these, the state and the county to say, hey, here's some ideas, let's, do you think it's a viable idea, and get them to buy in on them.
okay.
I'll volunteer to help.
No.
If that helps you.
Sure.
I think it would be helpful then. Such as setting up meetings, just calling people in town, finding out what their next steps are. Some form of a document, or even.
I was gonna say, so just curiously, like, the section of Maple, is there any of the roadway recapturable? Like, how would you see that being, like, implemented in that section?
Up to the curve where those condos are, many of the residents have already paved an 8-foot section. Just because I know how right. You could fit an 8-foot.
Right.
It drops off, there's a 10-foot, 15-foot culvert. That's not the worry for today. I understand we all want to jump to, okay, what do we do about that? That's not important right now. locations that are
10 feet.
monumentally problematic.
And from your experience, how strict is, again, I know the grant money has to be 10 feet, but if you got a couple areas where you can only get in less, do they just still give it to you if 90, yeah, most of it is?
That sounds like some of that 8-foot area is already pre-existing.
I think that some of those residents are using that for actual parking.
Maybe not any longer.
Well, and it's in the road right away, so we just, this,
You are going to run into 10%. At the end of it, after it's all done, from my experience, everybody loves it, it's a great thing. Houses even up toward the corner, that's their parking. You look at some on-service companies, when they do things. Highest, best uses of trade. Some of the neighbors in general don't want it much.
Yeah, no, the timing's, right, because, I mean, I believe Maple Avenue is scheduled to be repaved here in the near future, so.
Any, if we were to memorialize that we wanted to explore implementing a trail plan such as this, I mean, and it doesn't happen.
There's no harm,
Doesn't
no
happen?
foul. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Happened for 100 years maybe, but it's.
Right. I mean, it's
Wouldn't
by
this be
doing it, it's not tying us to a committed, like, hey, we are doing this, absolutely, we are gonna find the money, we are gonna spend it, we are gonna expand in, this is step one in exploratory feasibility and all the
Is some of this something that we should put into our park master plan, or is that?
Well,
That's
so the
exactly
park
what-
master
yeah.
plan is only 5 years. So, I mean, if you want me to add a different section, that's more like, 25 years or something like that. I could do that on there, sure.
Yeah, I think,
When you adopt the park plan or amend it,
That's exactly what Tom said to me, is it's got to get in the master plan, and then it's there, and then you just chip away at it. So I think that's what we can work on. So right now, we're basically just motion. I think, is anybody disagreeing that we kind of want to pursue it?
I don't even think we need to put a motion. I think we just need to direct staff to incorporate some of this into the park master plan, which is already, you're working on.
Yep.
And just add that as a separate section. And then when we get the park master plan, we can start figuring out.
But my question is, as we're working on this master plan, which I totally agree we need to do, we don't want to all of a sudden miss out on the fact that, the applications for a grant were due, we missed it. So it'd be nice to kind of consecutively talk to the county and check out dates for some of these. And those are DNR grants that we would need to be seeking.
Multiple grants.
okay, well,
Okay, I'll get it into the
And it
park
sounds like
plan.
you got a helper. Thanks, Chris.
all right.
Next item, item K, consideration of the Waukesha County Property Tax Assessment and Billing Contract for 26-27. So this is the contract that we've done for several years now, where the county collects our property taxes. We don't take property tax payments at town hall anymore, and we haven't for quite some time.
Right,
Is that,
yep, that's accurate. And it's going up about approximately, on average, $200 a year.
Worth it.
Yeah.
They've done great. It's been super easy.
Yep.
So,
Just speaking, since we're talking about this, and we did reference that in the tax bill is when we're going to put our survey. When is your deadline that we need to have that done?
So I haven't gotten the timeline from the county yet on that. I believe when I send them this signed contract, they'll be giving the timelines out for the following collection years, but it's coming up, so.
Okay. So I think as supervisors, we should be thinking of other questions we may want to ask our residents, such as if they're interested in being on a park commission, or, a trail commission, and any other questions. I think this will be the time if we're going to be trying to
Yeah,
put
so we
something
do
in
have
there.
like a board, committee, and commission interest form that anybody can fill out at any time on our website to let us know that they want to be helping in some capacity, but to actually put that on the newsletter saying, hey, if you want to, sign up here, that's going to be the best way
What
to
I
get
think
it
we
out.
need to do is because they don't go to the website necessarily, many do, but many don't.
Not
So-
looking for that.
Right, so I think if we can somehow or other get it on that, in that is an insert in the tax bill, like, again, we started doing the newsletter a few years ago, so we just, again, put a QR code or put the link, put something on that piece of paper that they can, so we just need to be thinking of the other things we want to ask our residents.
Motion to approve the Waukesha County property tax assessment and billing contract for 2026 through 2027.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the Waukesha County property tax assessment and billing contract. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, announcements. The third and final Waukesha County Budget Forum is going to be held here, Town of Delafield Town Hall, tomorrow evening, August 27th at 6 p.m. I would encourage you to come and learn about the ins and outs of the Waukesha County budget. The Town Plan Commission is scheduled for Tuesday, September 2nd, the day after Labor Day, at 6:30 p.m. The annual Lake Country Fire and Rescue Annual Joint Meeting is scheduled for next Thursday, September 4th, at 6:30 p.m. at Station 42 in the city of Delafield. And the next regularly scheduled Town Board meeting will be Tuesday, September 9th, at 6:30 p.m.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned 5-0.
Is the Waukesha
8,
County
11.
Budget Forum meeting streamed online?